thought what Juliet had done with the script was very, very clever. I mean, in any adaptation, liberties are taken with the story. And I went back and reread the book and some of the letters to try and put myself back there. And there are differences, but she's tied together in a 2-hour film. She's tied together a very moving piece and one that's sort of dreamlike. The Roland we see in the film is very much Vera's image of Roland, and that was something I kept in my head. Like it was playing someone that was almost a piece of her imagination, and maybe a glorified piece of her imagination actually, because she was so young when she met this man and spent such a short amount of time with him. So he had to be, what we wanted to get with him is that he was an ultra-confident public school boy who was very charming and very mysterious almost, and who challenged her in lots of ways. And I think that's who he was at essence, but there's no real way of knowing who the real Roland was. It's the first time I've ever played a character who really existed, who was a real person, and I had a sort of strange moment one night where I was lying in bed and thought, God, if I don't do this man justice. You know, I'm playing a real person who lived, and even though he's long dead, I've never done that before, and that was to me, that was quite a profound thing to be doing. And there's no way you can do a film like this without trying to imagine the horrors that these young men saw, and also trying to I'm 27, trying to pull yourself back to being 19, 20, and then imagine what these young men went through. There was a moment when I was doing a scene where I'm lying in no man's land and under a rain tower, and I was only under it for half an hour with costume girls buzzing around me and keeping me warm and giving me blankets, and then I got changed and I was fine. And I thought, these men did this for 4 years under heavy gunfire without costume girls running around giving them blankets and things. It was wonderful working with Colin and Taron. They both brought very different characters to the table, and I hope mine was different enough as well, that we got, you know, a broad range of people there for Vera to interact with. And Taron, you know, brought kind of cocksure brotherly quality to it, and, you know, slightly cheeky, and Colin brought to Victor a very, very tender, much softer side, which is, I think, was beautiful to watch. But we all got on very well. You know, I was very lucky to be working with them. I hope it doesn't force people to cry in their seats, because that's not what we should try and be doing. But if it tells this tragedy well enough, I think it will be incredibly moving. I've known Alicia before this. I've never worked with her. This is the first time we worked together. And actually, when I first read for it, Lucy, the casting director, said, and we've just got Alicia Vikander on board to play Vera. And that really drew my attention, because I know of her work, and I think she's an incredibly sensitive but very strong-willed young woman. She's got a hardness to her, and this isn't a criticism at all, it's a strength. She's got a hardness to her, which I think Vera had. And it's that mixture of being able to bring a real vulnerability, but also that quite strict, stern woman that she was to the role, that I think makes Alicia the perfect match, really. The real challenge for Alicia is that there's so many deaths throughout this. There's so many losses, and it's finding the variation that she might have felt throughout it. And that's why I think that kind of hard quality to her and to Vera is important, because she hardens as the story goes on. And so the impact of each of those deaths affects her in a different way.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey